Hello and welcome. These are horse racing selections for Friday the 29th of December. I am Flat Cap Callum and I'm hoping you are all very, very well. Alright, it's not going well this week, is it? It's really not. Always honest and upfront on the channel. It's not been a good week thus far. From a profit and loss point of view, certainly hasn't. No winners. We're below on the strike rate, and yeah, I think we're rocking into Friday minus 53. I think it's 53. It's in the stats. You can check it out. What does it say in the stat? I don't have a running total for the week. Do I have just for the month? Anyway, I think it's 53. We're minus 53. We're on for the week. So not good. The worst week we've had on the channels this year is 64. So 2 bad days Friday, Saturday, and we could end up with a right slump. It tailed off this week last year, you know, but lightning doesn't strike twice, as we've proven. Well, it does sometimes, but it doesn't. It does also not strike twice most of the other times. So we'll see how we get on. Today's vid, I've got Friday selections. Friday, going quieter, less keen on Leopardstown Limerick. Not because specifically to do with the weather, just didn't find much. So I've got £14 stake. So we are a smidgen under 3/4 of a stake for Friday, and it's 2 bets. There is an early afternoon win Yankee, which I don't do very often. I found 4 I was happy with. There was one I could have left it out and left the 3 big ones in the Trixie, but I've left it in for a Yankee. So I've got four win horses for a Yankee. Don't see it often on there. It doesn't mean anything, you know. Have I suddenly got a bananas opportunity? Have I suddenly changed my tack? No, but there's some decent quality races with smaller fields, and I found a bit of value in 3 of them, and then the other one is a bit more of a right shorty, certainly by my standards. So that's that, and then we've got a Canadian, which is 1 horse at Doncaster and 4 at Southwell. So no each way bets in Ireland, and there's nothing at all at Limerick. I've got at all. Yeah, 1 horse at Kelso, 2 at Doncaster, 2 at Leopardstown, 4 at Southwell. So the main bets mainly at Southwell, with a one other interesting run at Doncaster. But yeah, nothing at Limerick, and Limerick's been the one that's been alright to me this week's been better than the others certainly. And then the outlook for Saturday is, now declarations are in, it's going to be a really, really quiet Saturday. There is 7 races on ITV Racing, but there's not really big field, so I'm expecting it to be a low stake day. It may even be one of them ones where I've just got 1 bet for the day. We'll see. So I'll go through Thursday's review. I'll do Friday's bets, and then we'll do the tipster update that I should have done last night, and we'll go through that, because Saturday will be the last day of the year for the Tipster League. So we'll be crowning a December champion after tomorrow. After Saturday, depending when you watch this video. December champion and 2023 champion of the inauguralness. We've only been going like 19 weeks after this weekend. And then we'll start afresh from 2024. I'll keep in the background a running total, but I'm going to be sort of more referencing the 2024 stats and the monthly stats. So if you've got a chance of a one-hit wonder to smash and grab the league table going into the last weekend, if you can find a big pricer. But to be fair, since we've started in that 19 weeks, there hasn't really been much in the way of big prices winning on a Saturday. It's been few and far between. I can remember like maybe a 28 to 1's the biggest we've had. And yeah, if those who remember, been around long enough, start of the year for the channel, we were on a couple of 50 to 1 shots January, February on a Saturday that won. So it's been low winning prices on a Saturday. So what that tells you is the market are getting it right much more of the time at the moment on a Saturday. Anyway, right, let's do the review. So Thursday was our 3rd day in a row of not greatness. 24.50 on channel stats, had it 6.99 back. If you were Sky Bet, you'd have done much better. You wouldn't have. I don't think you'd have made a profit, but you'd have done a lot better than the 6.99 for the channel, because they had a couple of extras. So we had non-runners who were refunded there. Finally, Dakota Moret did something right. So it went down to a 6-runner race, and it was second SP to 18s. Channel had that as 45 pence rule 4, I think it was. So adjusted made that 15.4 to 1. So it actually ended up being a bit shorter than the 18s SP. So if you're on 18s, you'd have done better than the Channel for that. Then Ilatem Tom's. Clearly there was a bit of argy-bargy between the Mullins relatives, I think cousins. But clearly was the second best horse, and it got well backed in too. If you got 10 to 1 on Bet365 the night before, fair play, but 15 to 2 was very gettable. So we had 2 up and a non-runner, so we're thinking it could be all right. And then Conflated went from the front. The price actually drifted a bit, even though there was non-runners and rule 4s on the Channel had. It ran a really nice race and then just got really tired at the end and unseated JJ Slevin, and we'll not quite know whether or not it would have plugged on and held a place. Like I wasn't going to win. Nothing was going to be Galopin de Champs. That was unfortunate. Then Gobi Sunset. I don't know if people noticed the comment. Drawman made a comment in the on the Thursday vid. There was a point on Friday morning where about 10 o'clock, 10:15, I was following the markets, and it went to 150 to 1 in places, that horse, and then bounced back down to the kind of 25 to 1, 33 to mark. Just ridiculous. You don't see that very often. And it doesn't necessarily mean it's a bad thing. I mean, I jumped on it, ran a decent enough race, but it faded. I think it was 6th. But yeah, it wasn't to be. So we had a place double with a non-runner, I think is where we got with that one. And a place single back for Dakota Moret. That was that. And then Hollow Sound went from the front and faded. Larkfield Lucy went from the front and faded. That one fell early doors. That one placed, even though it looked like it was done and dusted halfway, near the end. And then Ballycashin got backed into something like 7 to 2 and ran no race at all. It's so frustrating when you see that, because it does happen quite frequently. A horse really, really well backed in and then run no race. It's not like a really well backed horse. And then it finishes 4th or 5th. Really well backed horse just doing nothing at all. Very, very frustrating. So we had a place. No, we got nothing back on that. We didn't get anything on that one, did we? So then on this combination double, nothing for the Channel. If you were Sky, you would have got Larkfield Lucive paid for 6th and Listen to the Lady paid for 5th on Sky. So there was a place double to be had for Sky on that one. And then bet 4. I thought we could be in business, but yeah, if you were Sky again, you'd have had that place double. Rocket Road sneaked in to get 3rd place at a better price, double figures. It was 12s, I think. Illusionist was poor, and then the bottom 2 were really poor. So nothing back on that one. So as I said, 24.50 on, 6.99 back. I think we're 54 down. I think we're up for the month 34 with 14 going on Friday. That would, if we lost it all, we'd be 20 up for the month. And I don't think I'm going to put down 20 on Saturday. Not for any other reason, because I just don't think it's going to be viable. So it's likely, even if we lose Friday, Saturday, we'll have a very tiny profit for the month. Clearly, I'd like to get a little bit of something back on Friday and Saturday to make that look a little bit more respectable. But that is where we're at. You can only work with what you got, and it's not brilliant this week, and yeah, it's just been such a letdown. Usually I go much bigger on these weeks, this post Christmas week, and Limerick and Leopardstown, I think partly the weather is just it's just played havoc with the field sizes, and just normally you've got a few more handicaps to string together, and just it's just not been there. And to not have an each way bet at Leopardstown and Limerick on the last day, I'm like, that's just rubbish. And there's no Irish racing on Saturday, so Saturday's just 4 meetings. I think it was Newbury the main meeting, then Haydock, Taunton and Wolverhampton. So none of those I'm going to get massively excited about. So that is where we're at. Darts update. We did have a positive update on the darts. So Dobie and Bunting both won well, played really well. That's them in the last 16. They've both got difficult matches. Bunting's got Van Gerwen, Dobie's got Smith, and arguably if they win those matches, the matches for in the quarter final might actually on paper look easier than the matches they've got in the last 16. So they're into the last 16, so they need to win 2 more matches to get to the semi-final. So that is what we're looking at. I think, as I remember, if one of them makes the semis, we make a very tiny profit. If 2, we'll absolutely be happy with that to get there. So we'll see. But there were some really, really good darts on show on Thursday. The quality's really, really got going now. People have got into their stride. And yeah, Bunting, if you watch that one, his first set today against Hempel was unbelievable. In terms of 3-dart average, he's always a heavy scorer, but it was pretty slick. I think he slightly tempered in the last bit, but yeah, I think he hit 2 11-dart legs, and then Hempel came back at him, and then he still went and won the set. It was a really, really good set of darts. Anywho, that's darts. So let's get into Friday's bets, and then we will do tips to these. Friday's bets. Here is my win Yankee. So 12-10 was the one I was debating. It's an early one to chase a dream. It's not the same quality. The other 3 are in decent enough quality races where you're looking at horses that are hopefully going to try and run a little bit more consistently. The top one there, the reason I've left it in is I had it from a value perspective. I had it as about 4 to 7, 8 to 13 chance, and I often will look at horses like in those races, and they rarely make the Channel Cup. Sometimes I might do them, personally, but they don't really make the Channel Cup. But 11 to 8 shot, when I'm thinking it should be 4 to 7, 8 to 13, I wouldn't want to back it odds on, because I don't back horses odds on particularly, but because you have to be really extremely the other way. But there's value for me in 11 to 8, which is what is gettable. It's 5 to 4 in a lot of places, but 11 to 8, at least half a dozen bookmakers you can get that. So to chase a dream, 11 to 8. And then we're going 110 Leopardstown, Jatara at 4s, at Leopardstown on. I'm going against the grain because Leopardstown on Thursday, all bar 1 race was a favourite. I've got 2 at Leopardstown that aren't favourites, second and third favourite. I think Jatara at 4s. Then 140 Doncaster, Fantastic Lady, 5 to 1. I think that's decent value in that price, definitely. And then the 145 Leopardstown Favori de Champdou, 7 to 2. 40p win Yankee. 440 is the bet, and therefore you want a best price guaranteed bookie like 365 Paddy, Coral, Ladbrokes. If you got a lucky 15 bonus at 365 and you want to do it like that, that would make a difference. For those sort of prices for the channel, I'm not going to be putting them on as win singles. Personally, I'll have a small win single on the bottom 3. I wouldn't bother on the top one, but on the bottom 3 I would do. But small relative to what I would do for an each way horse. So that's that 440. And if you don't like the shorty, then you can just have the biggie. But the biggie ain't really that biggie this Friday. So this is the main bet for the day. 245 Doncaster, 6-runner race. Nice little odds-on favourite in that one. It's pushing up some value, and I'm going to take one more Fleury, 25 to 1 to bounce back. I think that's really good price for that horse. 6-runner race, you're getting quarterly odds. So that's a really helpful quarter to have. So it's a difference between if it was fifth of the odds, you'd be getting 5 to 1 equivalent for the place, whereas quarter of the odds you're getting 6.25. It doesn't sound like loads, but it makes differences. If you start hitting 2 or 3 other horses in an accumulator, the difference is quite decent. So one more Fleury at 25s, and then we've got 4 at Southwell. So these 2 are in the category of should bounce back at this time of year. So Southwell Ale 8 to 1, and in the 4 o'clock, and the 4:30 Darby at 12s. So we'll have backed them before a number of times, I would imagine, on the channel. I can't quite tell it off the top of my head, but I think they're sort of both in that category of this time of year. They just should bounce back. They've had their first runs under their belt for the season, and they should kick on and improve. And then the bottom 2 are more in form but overpriced. So 6:30, we took it penultimately, I think, when it won. Then we left it when it was 4th at a shorter price, and it's dropped £2. So it's only £2 higher than when it won. So Stone of Destiny 9 to 1 is a really good price. I'd have that about 9 to 2. So yeah, well, that's double. Yeah, so it's double what I think it should be. 7 o'clock Southwell, Jean's Mate 14s. So it's 10p each way Canadian, 3 times 50p each way singles. So that's one more Fleury, Darcy and Jean's Mate. They're 50p each way singles. Then we've got 50p win singles on the single figure horses, Southwell, Ale and Stone of Destiny. And then to round it up to the nearest pound, we've got a 20p each way double on the bottom 2 at Southwell. So, both of them winning, we make a nice profit for the day. Both of them place, I think it's like, for the double, it's about £3 or something like that. But for a 40p investment, that's worth it for Channel Stake. Bookie advice, quite important on this one. Again, there's one race, and I can't remember, it's one of the Southwell races, where Hills and 888 again are standout 4 places along with Sky for a race that's 11 runners. The other ones at Southwell are 12 runners currently, so everybody else mostly is on 4s. So Sky, Hills and 888, because one of these races they're paying 1 extra place. That's all. So Sky aren't any more advantageous than Hills or 888, and they're only advantageous 1 more race place. Then 365 or Paddy would give you 2, 4 on 3 of them and 3 on the other. I can't remember which one it is on those Southwell ones, but you can figure it out. It's the 11 runner race. And then Betway, Betfair, Betfred, Unibet. The places to absolutely avoid if you're betting my bet, in terms of it makes it massively disadvantageous. Coral or Ladbrokes, don't go putting your bet on there when for the Southwell races they're basically paying 3 places, I think, on all of them. So you're really losing out an edge if you bet these with Coral and Ladbrokes. So I would avoid Coral and Ladbrokes if you can. I'm not saying it's a terrible bet for Coral and Ladbrokes. I'm saying if you're getting an extra place in 3 races compared to what you're doing at Coral Ladbroke, then it's those sorts of margins where betting in shop you lose out so much, and people don't realise the difference between shopping around and an online bookmaker. I know firsthand. My dad spent years and years and years his local Coral getting absolutely ripped to pieces, just by losing out on things like these big handicaps on a weekend, and we're looking at 5-6 place market, and in shop they're only paying 4 places and that kind of stuff. And you're not getting best price guaranteed, and anyway, that is the bet. So 9.60, so that makes it £14. Okay. And then Tips League, for those of you who want to be interested in the Tips League, got my note here. Forgive me for looking down to make sure I've got it right. 60 entrants, 15 made profit, 36 lost it all. So a little bit down on last week, but last week was particularly high return. But overall, it was a very, very quiet week. So a few interesting stats as I go through. But the overall winner from last week is Patrick Langford. Well done, Patrick. £40 is all it took to win Tips the League week 18. So he was first, and then we had Lee 33 second with 23, John P 3500 1480, Rob Walkin 1455. Brand new entrants, new to the competition and new to the comments. Derek Gardner, well done. You've made a debut and came 5th in your first week with £14. And then it rolls down Simon Gum, Lee C. So Lee and Patrick were the only 2 that were in the top 10 last week that have made it in the top 10 for 2 weeks in a row. Then we had Mike McKinney, Jackie Webster and Callum Angel, no relation. So that's the top 10. And then the overall top 10, quite interesting. I think one of them of last week's top 10 didn't play this week. All the other 9 lost £10. So none of the top 10 made any improvement. But because nobody won big elsewhere, it hasn't really changed anything. So the top 8 are the same. And then John P 3500 has crept back in the top 10 at the expense of Eugene, because John was just sitting outside the top 10, made a little bit of profit, and has put him back into the top 10 he had previously been in there. And that's about it. So Secret Lemonade Drinker on 223, James Patterson on 205, so £18 between the top 2 going into the final week end of the year. Samar Kevin 165, close enough. And then you get down to Al and Des, who are going to need to probably hit a £90, £100 profit if they're going to stand a chance of going to come top overall. So that is Tips the League update. Again, as I try and remember to say every week, thank you very, 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 very much to Stephen for all the support with all the stats. It's incredibly helpful. And Stephen, I know you're probably watching. Feel free to share what other additional stats you've been keeping track of as well. And I'm sure we'll probably sort of confer after this last weekend of Tips the League as well to see what else between us we've kind of kept loggers on and stats and stuff. So that is that. Thank you very much. That is me. I am planning to. I'll be back Friday night. Yeah, I'll be back. It'll be a Friday night upload because it's going to be a quiet Saturday. I'll get the vid done Friday night. And that will be the last vid of the year, barring any massive surprise on Sunday that I'm not expecting to put out any bonus video. So no planned video for New Year's Eve. We'll go Friday night for Saturday's racing, the last one of the year, and then. To be fair, then I probably might do a bonus video on New Year's Day. We'll see how it looks. I'm not gonna. I won't hold myself to that one. But New Year's Day is a Monday this year. Wouldn't normally do a video. There's quite a few meetings, so I may do a bonus video for New Year's Day. And if I do, it'll probably be out New Year's Day morning, I should think. I don't think I'm going to do a video New Year's Eve. I don't think I'll probably do a video New Year's Eve. But I'm not planning on doing anything crazy or wild, by the way. I did that last night, actually. Well, tonight, Thursday night. Yeah, so it was the annual Flat Cap Callum Christmas party. So last year, went to Newbury Racecourse with Mrs. FC, and then we went out for a very nice meal. That was last year's Christmas party. This year's Christmas party did a little bit different. Went to the cinema, but went to an Everyman. For those of you who are a fan of an Everyman, it's the sofas, the nice snack. Had a really nice burger, a raclette burger. It was very nice. Do decent milkshakes as well. I'm always a fan of a milkshake. But yeah, Everyman to see Wonka. So the full staff went, Mrs. FC and my two little people. So we went to see Wonka. That was this year's Flat Cat Cam YouTube Christmas party. So it was a hoot, particularly as I made the massive error of booking the wrong cinema. Turned up, couldn't understand why someone was sat in my seats because the reason I was sat in my seats because they weren't my seats, because my seats were in a different cinema half an hour drive away. Fortunately, they were very good to us in Everyman, and they sorted it out, and we managed to get some seats, and we watched the film, and it was very entertaining. I'm not going to do a film review, but I'd recommend it if you were thinking about going to see it. It's fun for all the family. Musical numbers in there. That's not everyone's cup of tea, but I enjoyed it. It was an entertaining couple of hours of my life. So thank you for all of you who have made super thanks donations this year. That's some of that's contributed to the Christmas party that we went to and had a very nice time. So thank you very much. All right, that is me ending the video. I'll be back tomorrow night. Thank you very much. Bye bye.